The terribly upset boy could not imagine life without his mother and cried bitterly at her grave. At that moment he felt the touch of a woman's hand on his shoulder, which made the boy flinch in surprise. Kevin was only 6 years old when his mother died in an accident. Since then he lived in an orphanage because his father left the family a long time ago, and the poor thing had no other relatives. Of course, the boy didn't like living in the orphanage. He constantly dreamed that his mother would take him away from there so that he could live with her again. The other children laughed at him and teased him that it was his mother died and that he will never see her again. You need to face the truth. Kevin, forget about mom. You will never see her again. Stop crying, Soy, said one of his roommates. Yet Kevin cried all day long and the other children teased him even more. You're such a whiner anymore. No one will ever want to adopt you, they said. One day, the children from the orphanage were allowed to walk outside in the nearest park while the others were busy playing. Kevin ran away from them and, without looking back, rushed towards the city cemetery. Kevin knew where his mother was buried because he promised that he would visit her as often as possible. However, he was unable to keep his promise because they were practically not allowed out of the orphanage. When he saw his mother's grave, the baby sat on the ground and cried. I miss you so much, Mom. Please take me with you, he sobbed. I'm so lonely, I have no one. No more left. A few moments later, Kevin suddenly felt a hand on his shoulder. He rubbed his eyes, wet with tears, and looked back. There stood a beautiful woman, and the sun's rays fell on her body, which made the stranger seem to be all glowing. Why are you crying, dear boy? Are you okay? She asked. I don't have a mom anymore. I miss her so much, Kevin answered sadly. I'm very sorry to hear this, honey. Where do you live now? Asked the woman at the shelter with sadness. Kevin answered her. I'm Susan, the woman said. Sitting down next to Kevin, I'm coming to the cemetery to visit the grave of her son, she added. Hearing her name, Kevin widened his eyes in surprise. Then he finally smiled and excitedly said, my mother's name is also that, and escorted Kevin back to the orphanage. On the way back, Susan noticed a small amusement park and asked if the boy wanted to go there. Kevin happily nodded his head. The boy happily rode the carousel and ate ice cream with Susan. Then the kind woman took him back to the shelter and said goodbye to her new little friend. Your mom loves you, Minnie. Don't doubt it. Right away, Ho Xiong went to church and prayed so that Kevin would finally find a loving family. When she went to bed, she suddenly had a strange dream. In her dream, her late son, Adam, gave her a note with the address 43 Washington Street before waking up. Her son told her, Mom, please take me with you. Susan had this dream several times for a week, worried about what it could mean. Xiong told her husband about everything. It's so strange. I dreamed that Adam was giving me a note with a specific address. He always tells me to take it with me, she said. What could this mean? What is Adam trying to tell you? Asked her husband, Richard. I don't know, but I've been having the same dream since I met a boy named Kevin at the cemetery. He was visiting his mother and said that he lived in an orphanage. So I took him there, she explained. After this conversation, Susan and I decided to visit the address. From her dream, indeed, in their city, there was 43 Washington Street. When the two arrived at the indicated address, Susan was surprised to see the shelter where Kevin had returned a few days ago. Susan immediately noticed sad Kevin sitting by the window on the first floor. She showed her husband the kind boy, saying that it was the same Kevin whom she met at the cemetery. What are you doing there, dear? Xiong asked the boy. He looked thoughtfully at the sky. I pray that my mother will take me away from here, he answered. Susan and Richard looked at each other and immediately realized what they should do now. The couple decided to adopt Kevin and do everything possible to provide him with a happy life. Kevin was amazed that someone finally wanted to adopt him. The boy was even more delighted to learn that it was Xiong and her husband Richard. God answered my prayers. One day, with his adoptive parents during dinner, my mother took me from the shelter, and now I'm here with my family. The boy smiled. God answered my prayers, dear. When I met you that day, I went to church and prayed that you would definitely find a loving family. Then I didn't know it yet, but I'm very glad that in the end we became your family. Thank you for giving us this chance, Kevin. Susan smiled, holding her son's hand.